The crew of the USS Enterprise once again boards their ship in order to attempt to boldly go where no one has gone before. Hello to everyone watching, and thanks once again for getting your movie news from RealScreenReviews.com and WeLiveFilm.com. As always, I am movie critic Nick Iacobucci, and our next movie review is Star Trek Into Darkness. This action and science fiction sequel opened in wide release to audiences on the 17th of May 2013, and it reunites the talents of Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Carl Urban, Zoe Saldana, and new to the cast this time is villain Benedict Cumberbatch. This Star Trek adventure, just like the last one, comes to us from director J.J. Abrams, who also directed Super 8 and Mission Impossible 3. After successfully pulling off what no one believed possible, which was to reboot the Trekkie-adored Star Trek franchise, he is back to see if he can strike science fiction gold once again. Well, people, as far as Star Trek Into Darkness fares, it is well above average, and I enjoyed this movie very, very much. The action is big and grand, and the movie itself is visually stunning. As I was watching this Star Trek adventure, I was actually taken aback by just how impressively crystal clear the action scenes were. Whether the adventure is at the center of a volcano or whether you are watching the Enterprise plummet toward the Earth, you are definitely thrown smack dab into the middle of the action right along with the crew of the Enterprise. Then director J.J. Abrams has crafted many surprises in this film, and they are delivered to the audience like treats on Halloween. He really seems to throw you into conflict, and then into despair, and then into disaster, and then he seems to repeat this pretty consistently throughout the film. Abrams has also made use of the 3D technology, but I would say that he utilized it best in and around the Enterprise. The halls, the corridors, and the pathways all looked just as cool as any of the battle sequences, I thought. However, what I have always commended about this director is his ability to create human drama first and only then surround that drama with action and adventure. The best element of Star Trek Into Darkness, in my opinion, was the element of ethical conflict. 500 years from now, we're still debating the torture of detainees in custody and the execution instead of the court-martialing of prisoners. This takes me to the cast, and I'll start with how Pine shines in this feature. He really is fitting into this James Kirk role almost seamlessly, and he brilliantly blends arrogance and confidence with likability and fun. This feature also gives us another side to Captain Kirk, and that side would be the one that makes mistakes and has to apologize for them. Pine really kind of steals the show this time around, just as Zachary Quinto did the last time. Quinto once again is well above average, and he also reminds me so much of the late and great Anthony Perkins. That is to say that there might be a little bit of physicality there, but there's a whole lot of emotionality at every turn with this actor. You can see and actually feel the emotional struggle of his current situation versus his Vulcan descent. Together, these guys and the partnership that they bring to the film is the linchpin holding this thing together. Just like the guys in both Midnight Run and Scent of a Woman, Spock and Kirk must rely on and learn from each other in order to survive. Also, once again, the whole crew of the Enterprise has bright moments in this film to strut their stuff. Peg is exceptionally funny, and I think that Urban is amazingly spot on without ever imitating DeForest Kelley. Plus, John Cho, Yelchin, and Zoe Saldana are all good as well. Then you must tip your hat to Benedict Cumberbatch's performance as John Harrison, because this portrayal is as inspired as it is terroristic. He commands the screen with the aid of this fantastic and articulate voice. He's very reminiscent of Sean Connery, Alan Rickman, or Morgan Freeman, where his British baritone was quite an asset to this character and to the film on a whole. Now, I really did enjoy this film, but I do have a few negatives or nitpicking issues to bring up. To start with, the beginning of this movie seemed to set up the same thing that was delivered in the first film, and it really kind of felt like a retread of a story that we have already seen. Then the action is big and grand, but there is definitely a lack of character development. Kirk is really the only person that I felt moved forward in this sequel, and even the X-Men movies had both the characters of Rogue and Wolverine to centralize on. Even the romance between Spock and Uhura went nowhere, and I would say that it actually was non-existent when you had an entire movie to progress it ahead. I also felt that sometimes as I was watching Star Trek Into Darkness that the entire project was following a blueprint or a pattern, and it lacked the greatness or spectacle very evident in Part 2's the likes of The Empire Strikes Back, The Two Towers, Spider-Man 2, or The Dark Knight. At right around 2 hours and 10 minutes, Star Trek Into Darkness really didn't feel anywhere near that long at all, and it clipped right along quickly from start to finish. I enjoyed almost every moment of this film, and following Iron Man 3, this summer is starting off with a bang. Then a big thanks to J.J. Abrams, that seems to have once again assembled a Star Trek adventure that anyone can enjoy without any previous Trekkie knowledge. Now, at the same time, he has also catered to many fans with many homages paid to the previous Star Trek materials throughout. Though mildly flawed here and there, this film is big, fun, thrilling, and visually stunning. Nick's real screen review is a very highly recommended, but just shy of perfect, 3.5 stars out of 4, and that's for the return of the USS Enterprise in Star Trek Into Darkness. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time that I have today, and thank you so much for stopping by. If you have enjoyed this review, please click like below and give me a thumbs up, or subscribe to either or both We Live Film or Real Screen Reviews if you haven't yet already. I'm sure that I'll be returning soon enough with more movie and trailer reviews, and until next time, people, this is Nick Iacobucci saying I'm not always right, but only when it comes to the movies, and thank you for your attention.